The first thing I do on this live stream is hit my funny bone on my chair. Oh. This is too far. I see somebody here, and I wonder who it is. I wonder who it is. Don't mind me, I'm gonna just eat this orange while we wait for the live stream to sort of begin, to commence. Hey, what's up, Sonia? How you doing, man? You're the first one to leave a chat so far. What are you up to? Are you traveling around the country? Or the world, I should say? Or are you back home? How was your week? I have been home for a couple of weeks. Nice. I had a really good week. I am so glad it's the weekend. I kind of feel like, even though it felt like a long week, I kind of feel like it was just last Thursday. Like I'm already live streaming again. But no, I had a really nice week. It was eventful. Work was pretty straightforward. Got a lot done with the channel. That was really nice. Making videos and editing and stuff. But yeah, I'm so glad it's the weekend. How was your week? I just got new roommates downstairs, and I can hear them. What is that? Who's dropping the emojis, bro? What's up? I see a bunch of people are here. What's up, guys? If you're new here, welcome. My name is Devin. We're still kind of waiting for the live stream to go in some sort of direction right now. That water just went in the wrong direction, bro. Holy shit. Oh, fuck. Ugh. Good for you. It was hectic. Storm here again. What do you mean? Like a literal physical storm of weather? Oh my god. I just inhaled my coffee. I mean water. Ugh. Holy Holy shit. What's up, Bobby? Damn. That water just did me dirty, bro. My mom was telling me that she doesn't know if she's going to be able to pull up. Geez, dude. Oh, yeah, we are getting the end of the hurricane. Holy shit. Is it bad? Is it like hurricane-like kind of storm? Dude, I remember a few years ago, there was like, the hurricane didn't hit us, but there was a hurricane really close by, passing by. And I remember I was driving down the highway, and dude, the clouds were so weird looking. I forget exactly how they looked, but they were like, I feel like it was like bands of clouds. Like you could tell it was the edges of the hurricane itself. And dude, you could tell it looked wild. You could tell it was some hurricane stuff. Tomorrow is supposed to be bad. Today is mainly flooding. Sounds scary, yeah. Sonia, do you have any plans to do any sort of other content on your channel other than gaming? Or are you going to just stick to live streaming gaming and stuff like that? Who else is in the chat, by the way? We've got a few people hiding, lingering in the chat right now. What's going on? Say what's up. Don't be shy. What's up, baby? My little Arabella doing the slow blinks at me. What's up, girl? Dude, this live stream is slugging away, isn't it? I have 0 comments. That's really funny you say that. The reason I'm asking you that, yo, Eris, what's up? How are you doing? But Sonia, the reason I'm asking it's a mindful content creator crash course. The Mindful Creator Crash Course. That's what it's going to be called. And it's going to be like a month-long program of how to become a confident creator, a content creator. And the mindful part is talking about like, it's going to be aimed specifically at people that do the kind of content that I do of like teaching spirituality and self-development and stuff like that. But honestly, it'll be applicable to everybody that's looking to become a content creator, you know? So that's funny that you say that. I have plans but 0 confidence, because that's exactly what I'm going to be like talking about in that course. So maybe I should get going on that. Is that something you would join me with? Timesley, what's good, bro? Finally somebody else pulling out. How are you doing, man? Good to see you again. Yeah, I'm down. Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. So what is it what is it that gets in the way the most for you? Give me some like direct insider feedback. Timesley. Oh my god, hi. What's up, bro? I think you were here last week, yeah? How's your week been, man? No miss call, girl. I feel like an idiot making a fool of myself, too much ego. Really? What makes you feel like an idiot? Are you talking about like gaming content, or what kind of content are you talking about creating that makes you feel like you're an idiot or you're making a fool of yourself? Hey, what's up, Oscar? How you doing? Did anyone hear Greg Braden on Joe Rogan? Quite nice combo. I didn't watch it, but I did see it. It was recommended on YouTube to me. I didn't listen to it though. I've listened to him a little bit. My mom listens to Greg Braden a lot, or has before, but I haven't really listened to him much. What was the conversation about? I'm called a girl. This is a book everybody should read, by the way, Psycho-Cybernetics. Very good book. I used to have a channel years ago where I would do sketch comedy, and it was fun, and people loved it. I also did music and spoof videos. It was so fun, but I feel like I cannot do that again. Why not? That's also like really cool content ideas too. Sketch comedy? What is sketch comedy? Like you used to do little skits, right? Is that what that means? What's up, little man? My boy. Oscar or Timesley, are you guys still here? Do you guys have any interest in do either of you have any interest or passion in becoming like a content creator of any kind? Just wondering, by the way. Yup, and the parody videos were great. I had so much fun, but I feel like I am not that girl anymore. Well, that's okay. That doesn't come down to... is the reason, like, do you want to do it, but you feel held back? Or do you not feel like doing it anymore? Because there's a big difference between that. Greg Braden spoke about easy-to-digest mind openers, such as science seeing the body through the wrong lens, and how AI and the digital age may reduce our humanity before we understand what it means to be human. That's really fascinating. Dude, okay, I'm going to be that guy. What if AI and the development of AI is part of what it means to understand what it means to be a human? You see what I'm saying? Because like, that is, in a way, that is learning about what it means to be human. I want to be a content creator. It's just that I have so many ideas I can't choose one. What are some of your ideas? Throw them out there, man. I love that. I love that you want to be a fucking content creator. That's cool. Sonia wants to be a content creator too. She already kind of is. She's just talking about certain kinds of content that she has trouble creating. What the fuck is that? Yeah, that's a good thought. AI may not reduce our understanding, but enhance it. Right. I think he meant through an almost spiritual way of thinking. No, I understand that too, and I figure he meant it on like a level of sort of organic humanity rather than technological humanity. Sonia says, held back hugely. I can see why you feel like you have too much ego, like you're afraid to make a fool of yourself, especially if you're doing like comedy and skits and shit. You know? I can see that. You should just do it anyway, though. You should just try it out anyway. That's the only way to get better at it. I've been learning a lot about exposure therapy recently, where you overcome something by literally just doing it, by being exposed to it. You know? Which is huge, because like if you're afraid of public speaking, how do you think you get better at public speaking? You don't become a master at public speaking by like going to college on public speaking and learning all about it theoretically and watching YouTube videos on public speaking. You get good at public speaking by public speaking, which is the last thing the person that's afraid of public speaking wants to hear. You know? That's the whole reason why I started live streaming again, for the exposure therapy. I love that, bro. I love that. That's so cool. Like, this right now used to be a lot more nerve-wracking for me. Like, now it's just kind of funny. Like, at first, I was really afraid. I wanted to perform. I wanted to look good enough, say the right thing, offer engaging feedback, and all this kind of stuff. And I used to really, like, if you look back at some of my old live streams, some of them were pretty cringy, bro. I was really, like, on edge, you know? The only thing I really get on edge about now with my live streams is when nothing is going on in the chat. So I'm just kind of sitting here like twiddling my thumbs like, what now? What now? Tadio FFV says, hello, what's up? How you doing, man? Welcome to the live stream. We're talking about being afraid of expressing yourself as a human being. But it's been another week and I haven't streamed since. I got so anxious about it, I just couldn't. Really? Do you still, so you still get, like, it seems like you stream like every day, bruh. And you still get anxious and worked up about going live? That's so fascinating. I still, when it comes to my long form content, where I sit down and I set the camera up. Hey, could I ask you a question? Yeah, sure. What's up, bro? Is it a troll question? I feel like it's gonna be a troll question, but have at it. Yup, every single time. What is it that makes you anxious? What do you get nervous about? People seeing you? You making a fool of yourself? I'm really curious what Jay's question is. This ought to be good. And no troll question. All right, let's hear it. Hit me with your best shot, bro. What do you do on your stream? She games. She plays like video games and stuff. Or she goes and like sits by the lake and just like hangs out with the homies. That question makes zero sense, bro. That might be the troll question itself, but if it's not, just rephrase it a little bit because I don't understand the question. More context, explain more. What should I do? What is your question? Are you asking what should you do to not be scared out in public? I am not sure. All I think of is that I lack confidence and worth. Well, yeah, those are both things that you can only gift yourself. You know what I mean? Those aren't things like... So here's the thing with confidence. A lot of people think that... Hold on. Oops. I got my camera set up here. I forgot to start it up. Like, confidence is something that people wait to have in order to begin doing the thing that they think they're not confident to do. I'm not confident to go out on stage and speak in front of a crowd. I'm not confident to stream. I'm not confident to ask this person on a date. But dude, confidence isn't something you're like granted that then allows you to move forward with taking that next step. Confidence is like a result of taking the step anyways, even though you thought you weren't ready, and realizing you have what it takes. Confidence is something it's like a reward you get for doing something before you thought you were ready, and then seeing you're actually cut out after all. You know what I mean? And like confidence is something where when you show up anyway, when you be you anyway, and you realize that you can own that shit and rock that shit, and even when somebody puts you down or calls you out or makes fun of you or rejects you or any of it, you can still bounce back, you know? what is, like, if I know secrets about the government, but I'm scared of being watched by people. What are you talking about, bro? Yeah, like sometimes I get terrified of being watched secretly in big crowd places because I can never fully pay attention. I see what you're saying. I think that's just paranoia. That's just textbook paranoia, bro. You can't possibly pay attention to everybody in a crowd. You know what I mean? So you're effectively fucked if you're worried about trying to pay attention to everybody. You know what I mean? So that's something that you yourself have to sort of learn to realize it isn't really in your control. You can't pay attention to everything that's going on. And also, when was the last time something happened, a negative thing happened as a result of you not keeping your eye on them? You know what I mean? Start to contrast your paranoia to your actual life experience and what's happened. Saba or Saba says hi. What's up, bruh? How are you? I said that weird. How are you? My doctor thinks it's to do with my PTSD. A simple damn task is monumental to me. I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, and there's no denying that either. Is that what you feel is going on? Because that's what's more important, for sure. I always think I'm being watched in public places. I don't know why I have this paranoia. So you think I should try to be more rational? I think you should start to realize how little your paranoia actually has to do with reality itself, rather than it being something you're tripping out about for no reason. Because I can tell you right now, nobody's watching you. Whoever you think has their eye on you most likely doesn't. There's something in psychology called the imaginary audience. You ever walking down the street and you feel like everybody sees your outfit, or they see that zit on your head, on your face, or they see that stain on your shirt, or they see that you see what I'm saying? And so you start trying to walk right and proper and act cool and keep it together, or maybe hide the stain. But dude, nobody's paying attention to you because everybody else is in that same world that you're in, thinking, oh my God, everybody's looking at me. If everybody thinks everybody else is looking at them, nobody's looking at anybody. Everybody's so preoccupied with themselves that they don't have the bandwidth to pay attention to you. You know what I mean? That's something you do like when you're stoned. You go out into public, you're like, oh my God, they all know I'm high, bro. You know what I mean? And it's not true. And also your paranoia about such a thing is what can cause people to start paying attention. If you're so weirded out that everybody's fucking looking at you and you're like head on a swivel, like, who are you? What do you want? What are you doing? Then you're going to start getting looks like, what's his problem? But if you start to realize that your concern and paranoia is just that, concern and paranoia that doesn't have any sort of actual foundational basis in reality, that energy will start to alleviate and relax. And nobody's going to pay attention to you. You know what I mean? In a good way. Nobody's looking at you like, what are you doing? Who are you? You know? I want to create a channel on YouTube about health. I want to go out and confront people who decide to put chlorine in the waters, shown to be cancerous, while there's safer ways. No shit, dude. That's controversial, man. I love that. Are you really that interesting for the government? I think the chance is almost none. You may be interesting due to committing crimes, but you should know if that's so, and then it is so. Right. Yeah, I remember one time I was high as fuck. I was in a grocery store. I had to talk to my mother. It was so bad because I was so high. Yeah, I've been there too, bro. I felt like that when I was high. Yeah, I've been there too. Yeah. Yeah. That's hysterical. True. Someone who's paranoid will lead to real paranoia because people actually look weird at you. Exactly. Your fear will trigger the feedback that you're afraid of. Hey, what's up, Inevitable? How you doing, man? Strenuous exercise / exorcist. Oh, that restless energy. That's all it is. Practice semen retention and breath work and meditation. Might help get out of your head a little bit. That's true. My friend said I was just staring at everything. I don't doubt it, bro. Yeah, that's interesting. Different methods of getting out of your own head. Oh my God, I'm just realizing. I want to pull this up a little bit. Pull that up. That looks a little better. I think a good and immediate way to sort of get out of our head is to come into our senses, to come into our body. You know, and that's kind of like meditation in a way. Like, what are you hearing? What do you feel? Feel yourself. Feel your feet on the ground as you're walking, or your butt in the seat that you're sitting in right now. You know, yo, Sage, what's good, bro? It's so good to see you. Or hear the sounds around you. Hear the whirring of the AC, or the ticking of the clock, or the wind, you know, or the birds chirping, or in my case, the little frogs peeping outside because it's nighttime, you know? I'm going to have to pee here in a minute, guys. I usually don't have to do that till later in the stream. Be careful with semen retention. It might blow you up. I don't know why, but smoking weed helps me get out of my head. Smoking weed puts me in my head, bro. Smoking weed is really intense to me these days. Just saying. That's funny. But I don't want to become dependent on it. What, on weed? I'm just stopping in for a sec to say, hey, I'll be back, fam. All right, bro, be safe. Honestly, real quick, I'm going to go pee real quick. Give me like 30 seconds. I'll be right back. I'm coming. 10 people, what's up? I'm making popcorn, still listening. Nice, you are still here. Yes, I do use it to get out of my head. The herb gives you nothing good, judging by the way you talk, man. Just stop that shit until you're in a better place. Honestly, I agree. I don't smoke often, but the times I've done it, it has helped me. So, you were talking about being high as hell, talking to your teacher, not being able to talk to him. That doesn't seem like it's helpful. Run a mile and see if you give a fuck what other people think about you out in public afterwards. Really? That's an interesting statement. What makes you say that, Inevitable? What's the kind of energy that comes out after running a mile? That's a really interesting statement. Expand on that. Elaborate. Have you ever thought of the simulation theory? Yes, I have, and I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it, because here's the thing with the simulation theory. It doesn't matter whether this is a simulation or not, because first of all, what are you going to do about it if it is? Okay, life goes on. It's a simulation. When you die, you wake up to the real reality or whatever. But that doesn't change what you're doing here in this life. First of all, because you can't prove it. Second of all, because it literally doesn't change the contents of what we're doing here in this simulated reality. It would be like you're the main character in a video game realizing that you're playing it, but you're still playing it. It doesn't do anything about this, right? It only changes like the way that you might get over dramatic about it. Oh my God, it's a simulation, man. Or you might go around telling everybody else, hey guys, it's a simulation, you know. Or you might go down some weird rabbit hole, but ultimately, it doesn't change the actual experience of this reality. So that's the first thing, is it doesn't change anything. Simulation or not, this is it. This is life right now. The other reason why I don't give any sort of time to the simulation theory is because there is a reality. It doesn't matter as whether I'm in a simulation or if this is raw reality or if I'm in a simulation inside of a million simulations. There is reality. There is existence itself. And that's what I'm after, is reality, depth, existence, wonder, curiosity. So if I'm being simulated, that's cool, but where are they? Who are they? What is existence to them? They exist. They exist as much as I exist. You see what I'm saying? So, what is simulating what? That's the question. Sure, I don't care if this is a simulation. That doesn't deny the existence of actual reality beyond that which is being simulated. So it doesn't matter. I'm going to continue to live my life the way it is. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? What if the government has created illusions to make us not see it? Why would the government be able to control existence itself? Only God controls existence. God is existence, not the government. The government might have technological power, but not existential power. You see what I'm saying? There's a big difference. Do you think teaching children a religion is considered grooming in a way? Nope. Nope, because unless you're doing it to try to get something from them. But if you're religious yourself and are just teaching, okay, I will say this. If you're a teacher at school and you're laying a religious trip on children, that's weird. But if you're a parent that themselves is religious and you're simply just conveying your religion to your blood-born child, no, that's not grooming. I don't think so at all. Interesting concept, because it makes you used... Wait, what did he say? Oh, was it the running thing? Yeah. Interesting concept, because it makes you used to being adrenalized and then you can calm down. Post-exercise lowers blood pressure and resting heart rate. Outlet for built-up energy. Strenuous exercise helps get more into the body, kind of like how you were talking about earlier. After my workouts, I feel way more alive and more confident, way less in my head. Yeah, I feel you, man. That's how I feel. That's why I love my channel so much. Because when I make a YouTube video, like within 5 to 10 minutes into recording, I'm not really there anymore. I'm like flow. Like, I'm in the zone. And when I say I'm not there, what I mean is the one who's like, what should I make the video about? How am I going to say it? How am I going to word it? What should I do? What if I stumble over my words? Maybe within the first few minutes, I might have a little bit of a rocky start. But then all of a sudden, this thing clicks. And it's just flow. It's just flow. And that version of me, when I come out of a YouTube video, when I'm done with a YouTube video 25, 30 minutes later, I come out of that shit glowing. I'm ready to like hurl my fist through the wall, bro. Like I could take on the world, and conversation is so clear and fluent and articulate, and I'm in a great mood. And when I come into contact with somebody, rather than being like, oh, there's somebody, I'm like expressive, I'm like extroverted, I'm like, yo, what's up, man? It's very fluid and open and loving and simple and confident, you know? And I absolutely have that version of myself, that energy that I can embody of being sort of clammed up and like at the beginning of my live stream compared to now. The restriction and the, what should I talk about? How should I respond to that? Versus the opening and the flow that comes through when I just get out of my way, you know? Good question, Saba. I'm going to answer that in a second here. I do think, oh my God, Umaima, what's up, girl? Dude, that's what you have to say. That is hysterical, bro. Oh my God, my sweet Uma. I do think sometimes the government manipulates us energetically so we turn into chaos. We can never figure out the truth of the situation. I agree to that too. But I don't think they're creating a simulation. I don't think they have godlike powers. I think they're greedy, power-hungry individuals, you know? How do you feel about drugs like weed or DMT? So I feel like those, like, let's say those drugs, like psychedelics and cannabis, are incredibly beneficial things, but you need to know what you're getting yourself into. You need to do a thorough amount of research and study of what you're getting yourself into. Weed obviously is a little bit more laid back and more culturally open and accepted in this kind of stuff. But when it comes to DMT and psychedelics as a whole, for that matter, I think an ample amount of research needs to be put into these things. Because in my opinion, psychedelics are a lot of things, first of all, but to put it simply, I didn't want to ruin it. To put it simply, psychedelics are deconditioning agents. Where you could have this whole trip going on. You're so and so, the big sophisticated, you have your own, six-figure business, and you have your partner and your kids and your life, and you got it going on, and you got it all together, and you got a nice car, and you got a good diet, and you're working out, and you got a good relationship, and your kids, and a nice home, and you got it all laid out. And then you take something like LSD or psilocybin mushrooms, and all of a sudden you're sitting in a chair, like listening to music with your friends or something, and you start realizing, I am none of what I've been saying I am. All of what I've been thinking I am is a masquerade that who I really am is hiding behind. And you can begin to realize that everything you've built your life on smoke and mirrors. This version of yourself that is just a version of you, that isn't who you truly are, but is something you've been impulsively chasing and becoming. But it's not who you are really. And now you're sitting here, and through the effect of what the psychedelic is doing to you, you're being returned or reduced back into or distilled back into a version of yourself that is pure and true and untarnished by conceptual models, conceptual frameworks of thinking. So now you're sitting here as existence itself, which is not a business owner or a person that has a career or a person that's married and has kids or a person that likes doing this and that. It's existence itself. And this is incredibly disorienting if you didn't see it coming and if you don't know what to do with it. So obviously what I'm talking about is a very far out understanding of psychedelics, but it's what happened to me. I was fortunate enough, though, to understand the spiritual, existential, and philosophical side of psychedelics before getting into them. But for somebody who doesn't know about this kind of stuff or doesn't take the time to really study what can happen with psychedelics, they can end up in some really nasty, deep waters really quickly. So if you don't like the feeling of being out of control, if you don't like the feeling of, like, if you don't want to lose grip on the sort of paradigm that you've built in your life, then psychedelics aren't for you. Because psychedelics do on a plethora of things. They're fun, they're amazing, they're the most beautiful art that you will ever witness with your sense fields. You see what I'm saying? They do incredible things, but one of the things that they do as well, or can do, is to completely unravel your identity structure, which I think can be really alarming and disorienting to people who aren't ready for it, or even to people who are ready for it. So those kinds of things, psychedelics are something that needs to be taken with a grain of salt, for sure. No doubt about it. It's not something you go and, I'm going to go get spiritual. I'm going to go take mushrooms and be spiritual now. No. You're going to learn really quickly what spirituality really is if you start messing around with psychedelics. Uma, your comment is hilarious, bro. I was losing my brain today. I got in the car and spent hours in the pool. Damn, you were probably shriveled up like a raisin, bro. Hours in the pool. I see. Thank you. I hope that was the kind of response you were looking for. Have you ever tried psychedelics or anything? Saba or Saba? What's up, little man? Yeah, what's up, Josh the Vegan? How you doing, bro? I've forgotten about you again, man. I need to send you session 5, I think. I'm sorry, bro. Not driving this time. Good, bro. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be driving and texting. I'll call the cops on you, bro. What's good? What did I miss? Not much, man. I was just talking a little bit about psychedelics. What is this? Built to ass in the best way possible. Those mushies are Godspeed. That's hilarious, dude. That's hilarious. Yeah. Yeah. But no, we were talking about psychedelics. We were talking a little bit about like confidence and not being afraid to own who you are and show up as who you are. Beautiful things. I'm glad you're here. If it was, I really liked your response. It's also of this abuse. It's lost its light, and it's not something I want to return to, really. Yeah, the same. It's kind of not what it was for, like, every day for years, and then it was a whole different kind of thing. Like, all right, I'm not gonna do this anymore. I guess I do it very occasionally now, but the time I do it are such a small amount that I basically don't feel it. You know, again, our shrooms. I really my I've never done Molly, but I've done MDA, which is a slightly more psychedelic version of Molly. Very interesting substance. Or try shrooms, yeah. I haven't done a lot of shrooms. The connection is cutting off. I don't know if it's from me or you. I think it might be you. Is anybody else experiencing any sort of weirdness in the connection? I've wanted to try them, but never have. They're incredibly powerful things. I thought it was me that had the messed up connection. Damn, maybe it's me, bruh. Is it me? Muhammad Selek says, "What's up, my boy? What's up, dude? How are you? Is my connection shit right now? Do I look like a cookie?" Better now. Okay, I can hear you now. What did you say about the MDMA and weed? I've never tried MDMA. I've tried MDA. It's a little bit different. And about weed, I said that I don't smoke weed anymore because like I used to a lot in the past, and then I took like a short little break. And when I went back to it, it was just like way more intense than it had ever been before. And I was like, I can't do this like I used to, bro. So I kind of retired from my use of weed. Dial up. What do you mean about dial up? Are you talking about my connection? I hope not. Maybe you are. You Gucci now. Okay, yeah. I guess it was shitty for a minute. Yo, Power Off. What's up, brother? How you doing, man? Sam, this is exactly how I'm feeling right now. What, about weed? Power Off, bro. I did Changa a few days ago, and I thought of you, man. I thought of you. I thought of the laser experiment. My man, good to see you, bro. How's the Florida life, bro? Bruh, I got some edible cookie dough in my fridge right now that I'm kind of tempted to go and get. I'm not going to put you guys through seeing me eat that, though. Rainy at the moment here in SoFlo. Nice, dude. I bet you it's humid as fuck. I used to smoke a lot until I realized it was now doing me worse than good, like experiencing laziness or like reliance on a substance for peace, even though true peace comes from within. Yeah, exactly. I never really experienced it with weed. Weed was something where if I couldn't do it, it was okay. Like if I didn't have any, or if I was like in a state where it was illegal, or if I was away from it for a while, I was like, whatever, man, I'll get back to it. But nicotine, on the other hand, was a whole other story. And what's funny is what made me stop using nicotine. I vaped. I was a vapor. What made me stop vaping was my fucking lung collapsed. And I don't know why my lung collapsed, but my lung collapsing was a good enough incentive for me to be like, all right, I'm done vaping, man. And I've never inhaled nicotine since. This was a few years ago. You see that episode of Souls of Jarrett interviewing that Julian? Dude is a wild personality and advocate for Changa. Dude, he created the concept of Changa. He doesn't just advocate it, he created the concept of it. Also, Soul of Jarrett's a savage, bro. I like him. He's cool. He's a little bit I don't know, there's this edge to him that's a little bit hard for me to get down with. But I vibe with him like 95%. Oh damn, how long did you vape for? Since I was like 16. I got addicted to vaping when I was 16, and I vaped all the way up until like 22. I do still vape, but I need to quit, to be honest. You'll quit when you're actually ready to quit, Jay. That's not the kind of thing you can just bullshit yourself and be like, I should quit. I've been vaping since 16 as well. I quit smoking cigarettes in 2017 after smoking for 15-ish years. Two questions, Josh. Was it hard to quit? And why did you quit? Your mate Tom has a better interview with him, IMO. I feel you on Jarrett. I know what you mean. Yeah, he has this sort of, I'm right and you can't change what I think. You know what I mean? That's just, yeah. He has a to him. Dude, your mate Tom, how's he doing, bro? How's he doing? He kind of seems like he was going through a lot of shit. You want to know what's weird is he gives me the impression that he like acts like he's okay. This is gonna be kind of controversial, and I don't know how to say it, but like he's like debilitatingly suffering with ADHD, but I don't think it's that. ADHD isn't like that, bruh. Chew the meat, spit out the bones with certain internet personalities. Is that how you feel about me, bro? You don't feel like that about me, do you? But I can go a month without it and days without it and be fine. I do want to crash out sometimes when I don't have my vape. Yeah, that means you're addicted, bro. Nah, inevitable. You love me, bro. What part of me do you want to spit out, huh? You just cherry picking me over here? You good people, bro. Thank you, bro. Do you know what I mean about your mate Tom, though? Like, he literally, it seems like he's, like, reverted a little bit to, like, a child, kinda. You can see it in his videos, or at least I can. It's this energy of, like, he used to be very sophisticated and a healthy-looking guy and fucking had his shit together. Talking about psychedelics and all this kind of stuff. And, yeah, you just kind of, he obviously had a really hard time with psychedelics. And I think that played a huge role in it. But yeah, he seems like he's having a bit of a hard time, man. Like when I don't have it, I'll crash out on everybody. That ain't good, bruh. That ain't good. Night, y'all. Yo, Sonia, have a wonderful rest of your night. Thank you for hanging out. I quit because I was changing my lifestyle. I went vegan around the same time when my dad had half his foot amputated due to diabetes and smoking. See, there you go. It's that incentive. Having a good enough reason, like, oh shit, my dad has diabetes and just had his fucking foot amputated because he's smoking. Do I want to be like that, you know? It's about having incentive like that, which is huge. And yeah, changing your lifestyle. I love that so much. Josh, it's so funny, dude. Like, the vibe that I get from you is that you're like this big burly guy, but you're also a vegan at the same time. I like my toes. Like, I have no idea what any of you look like. He had a few rough trips. Hasn't been the same since, in my opinion. You see what I'm saying? He seems kind of, like, ditzy and childlike. And you can see it in the way he edits his videos. It's like he's, like, playing the role of a super ADHD child. You know? I had ADHD as a kid. But it's ADHD. It's a type of fucking person, in my opinion. It's somebody whose energy... ADHD is like creativity and passion with nowhere to go yet. And it's a ticking time bomb for what they're going to create. For what they're going to do with that energy. I also want to ask a question. So this one time I left my phone charging in my friend's mom room. Somehow her number got in my phone. What should I do at this point moving forward? I'm scared to confront her. Your friend's mom gave you her number? That's mad weird, bro. How old are you? So do you think that psychedelics might do more harm than good rather from what you experience or in a short term or in the moment? I think psychedelics... Oh, it's so variable. It's so variable. It's hard to say. For me, psychedelics, it's why I'm here right now. It's why my life is the way it is. It's why I wear these beads and have fucking Ram tattooed on my fingers and incense and I'm spiritual and all this shit. Psychedelics are like my backbone. It's what built me, right? But will it do that for the next person, or will it make them lose their fucking marbles? You see what I'm saying? So it's so hard to determine it. It's something that you need to consult with yourself and with God. Or if you don't believe in that kind of shit, then I guess just see if it sits right in your heart, you know? I don't look like a vegan. That's hysterical. I think his boy Psyched Substance has chilled from psychedelics. See, Psyched Substance got fucking weird as hell too, but he seems like he's he never really lost his marbles. He just got addicted to kratom and like broke up with his wife and that kind of stuff. And he seems like he kind of handles bad experiences with psychedelics relatively well. Power off, and any of my other psychedelic friends in here, do you guys know what's his name? it's right on the tip of my tongue. Quentin, the Quentin experiment. Yes, without me knowing. Only because she did it secretly. That's why I'm nervous. Why would she do that? Should I ask her, be like, hey, so your number got on my phone. I was confused how it got there. How do you know it's her number? Ram, man. So good to see you. What do you think these psychedelic entities are? I have no idea. And I don't think anybody on this planet knows what they are. I think they are energies and entities and beings from other dimensions. That sounds wild, but you go and experience it and then tell me what you think it is. I don't, like, if you think I sound far out, imagine how it feels saying it. I don't have any other alternative of how to describe it because I don't believe, oh, it's just my brain hallucinating. That's absolute and utter bullshit, in my opinion. Doesn't feel like that. It doesn't register of that as that. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't click. I experience entities and beings and thoughts enter my mind that are the same as me talking to you right now. The way, like the way that you're hearing me talk to you and you're experiencing what I'm saying to you, and you wouldn't say that you're thinking it. That's how these beings communicate. But it's not a sound, it's just in your mind. They're not your thoughts that you're having, right? And like, they're completely entities, and I have no idea what they are. Is it the where you go when you die? Is it another dimension? Is it an astral plane? Is it happening right now? And for some reason, you can connect to that place when you do the DMT or whatever? I have no idea. Anybody's guess is as good as mine when it comes to that shit. No, never heard of the Quentin experiment. He's good, dude. He's got some good footage, good videos from a long time ago, though. Yes, Quentin came back for a little bit. Dude has a family now. Yeah, dude, yeah. Psychs are cosmic echoes. What do you mean by that? If two people are tripping together, do they see the same shit? I don't know about you guys, but me and my brother did. We would think the same thoughts, see the same visual. How the hell are you hallucinating the very same thing with somebody else? If your brain is all fucked up and you're hallucinating, why are we seeing the same thing where something morphs and we see it together? Or something's a different color and we both agree upon it? Or we would hear the same audio distortion. My brother and I took a lot of acid together. And we would have telepathy. We would have a conversation where I'd be like, damn. And he'd be like, right. And it's like, how did you know what I'm thinking? You know? And we would see the same thing, hear the same thing, feel the same feelings, walk into a room, have the same energy. You know? I don't know what I mean by that. Just sounded cool. That's hysterical. Cosmic echoes, man. Imagine tripping sack, dude. And you're sitting there and you're like, what is this? And your fucking doink wook ass friend is like, it's just cosmic echoes, man. Ride the wave. That's crazy, dude. These older women have become very good at being sneaky. That's mad weird, dude. That's kind of... How old are you? How old did you say you are? Dude, yeah, I thought you'd think that's funny, dude. That's crazy. Riding those cosmic waves, man. Cosmic echoes rippling through the time-space fabric, brother. Good morning from Philippines. Rainy day. What's up, man? Good to see you, bro. I don't know what yeah. When you're close or get along with someone, you kind of do, or feel the same feelings. Yeah. I've had that telepathy with my dad once. We were texting. I knew who he was talking to without him telling me. Damn, bro. Enjoy the sacred silence and the cosmic echoes, brother, man. That's so funny, dude. That's so funny. there's literally no words to it. That's what's so wild about it. Like just yeah. Yeah, I had a Chang experience just the other day, and it was wild because I haven't done these things in a long time. And yeah, I smoked like a relatively low dose of Changa and proceeded to just like be sucked along on this ride of some sort through my own mind. Like I didn't break through, nowhere near that much, but what it was doing to my mind of just getting trailed off into these trains of thinking. And then like check this out. You see this painting up here? I was staring at this and it would just suddenly start like okay, so I'm gonna turn this around. Hold on. It would just start like I'm kind of getting sucked through the like my mind just thinking, and I look over at this painting that I just showed you, and I'm staring at it, and it starts like morphing into this incomprehensible image, and then I like fix my eyes, and it's back to normal, and then as I stare, it starts morphing, and then I fix my eyes, and I'm like, whoa! And every single time, it kept changing into something different, and yeah, it's absolutely profound what psychedelics do, man. It's not words. Okay, so bye. This was a nice conversation. Saba, thank you so much for hanging out. It was a beautiful conversation. I really enjoyed it. Like a good thing that you can equate psychedelics to, hear me out, is sex. Not about how good it feels, but about how fucking weird it is. When you're like really in the moment with a sexual experience, it's just this like melted slurry of sounds and feelings and pressure and warmth and moisture and movement and flow, and it's just this messy fucking melted like almost like grotesque thing happening, and you're not really thinking, you're just kind of in this wild mode of existing. You're not thinking. And then you're not thinking, oh, this ought to feel good. You see what I'm saying? You're not thinking, I wonder what I should do next. Chaotic order, yeah. You're not thinking, this is awesome. Maybe a little bit, but it's very visceral and primal and like wild and untamed and just happening. It's a lot of experiencing rather than thinking. And then, like the moment of orgasm is just complete. And then you're back and you're like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Bet that painting came to life on some Harry Potter in Hogwarts type shit. Yeah, it wasn't crazy. It wasn't nowhere near as intense as some things I have seen the world do on psychedelics. But it was interesting. I was like, whoa, I haven't seen something like that in a while. You know what I mean? How do you access telepathy just normally? I'm just kidding. I have no idea. A little dose of samadhi. Why do I keep hearing? That's so weird. Samadhi. How much do you know about samadhi? Inevitable. Have you ever experienced samadhi? Richard Wilkins says, what's up, man? Been watching your recent shorts. Second time catching one of your lives. Hell yeah, man. Welcome to the live stream, man. Thank you. I'm hoping that you're enjoying the shorts, man. Good to see you here. I think I actually recognize your name. I think I've seen you comment a few times. Yeah, samadhi. The extent to which I know about samadhi is how much I've studied it in Ashtanga yoga, where it's kind of like samadhi is in a way selfless existence, because like when the self disappears, you naturally become like absorbed, or you're already it, but like there's this process of an absorption into what is, and you can go to different levels of intensity of it, and surprisingly, when I was sober, super one-pointed, no reference. Yeah, exactly, no reference point. See, so in Ashtanga yoga, I'm trying to jog my memory of Ashtanga yoga. Meditation is the process of becoming focused on one point. It's just one pointedness. And how is it? Fuck. There's this process where you go from I'm trying to meditate by focusing on my breath to then all that exists is you focusing on the breath. You're coming into meditation now. And then in the state of meditation, it's just the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Of meditation, of meditative absorption, when there's no like the watcher has collapsed into what is being watched. You're in meditation. You are the meditation. And a lot of people kind of zonk out of that state. They come out of it, or they fall asleep, or whatever. But I think in what I studied, it's by staying held, suspended within. I mean, there is nothing that's being suspended, but like it's in that state of dhyana, meditation, that you begin to move into samadhi, which is even the focal point begins to disappear. And it is vastly different than losing focus. You see what I'm saying? And it's absolutely profound, And yeah, dude, I used to have like these mini rapturous like moments years ago, and very occasionally still, that are brought about by sometimes like Indian music will throw me into this exalted state of awareness all of a sudden, where it's kind of like the world will kind of like start to fall away for a minute, and I literally start almost stiffen up, like I kind of do what I'm doing right now, like I kind of go into this beautiful, rapturous, loving energy of just and I don't know how to describe it, but then it goes away really quickly. But it's this sort of rapture, this sudden moment, Mahasamadhi, dropping the body completely. Ram Dass described death as like a Maha acid trip. You don't come back. You can slow your heartbeat all the way down on will, kind of like hibernation. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, people don't get down with really deep spirituality, man. Some wild, wild, wild stuff that we're capable of. Just talking about all this right now, inevitable, and like the stillness of the room that I'm in right now, and the clock in the background is like very, very zen. What a trip Yogananda did that. Yogananda is a beautiful being. So I don't think he was enlightened, but he was fucking close. He knew God, and he could go right into it whenever he wanted. And he was here as a student to God, but a master to humans or to spiritual aspirants or whatever. You know what I mean? But it was so beautiful, his devotion and his love and his commitment and his strength and his articulative ability. If you read from Yogananda, or if you just listen to him, he is like the most, comes from a profound lineage. Yeah, he does. If like he is like the most well-spoken, like you listen to him and it's like a human being said that. To me, it's so ripe and it's so clear. And so every single word is just the most juiciest. It's so packed full of meaning and intention. And you read it, or I read it, and it's like, wow, that is right on. You know what I'm saying? That's how I try to be with my communication. Like, a lot of the way I describe things and a lot of just the content that I make is like, I remember when I was younger, first kind of starting out on YouTube, I was like, I want to describe things in the way that I wish people described it to me. You know what I'm saying? When I know something, I want to teach it in the way that I wished I was taught about it. Because the way that I came to know it was in a long, drawn out kind of way, where it's like, finally I understand this thing. Now I get to teach people about it in a very easy to digest way because I have the skill of like articulation and being able to share it and offer it in the way that I want to. You know what I mean? Throat chakra burst into sweet nectar. Oh, I love that. Yeah, that just reminded me of him, man. Dude, I gotta pee again, bro. Most definitely, you getting there, man. From one person that's been on this path for years now, you the next. Nah, dude, no, I'm not comparing myself to Yogananda. I'm saying, as far as like the articulation part goes, I love being as precisely articulate as possible. Because language is a blessing. Language is a gift, you know, and to be, I love language. I love communicating. Like in school, I got straight A's in English class, bro. That was the one class that I nailed. When it came to like knowing the meanings of words and shit, I knew that shit, bro. I love language. Sometimes it means you're gonna make a sentence 2 times longer than it needs to be. Sorry, I got a text. I wonder. No, I can't. Yeah, I can't go off the screen on YouTube live streams. How's everybody feeling though? Who's hanging out in the chat right now? I see we got 6 people here. Me and Inevitable are kind of going off right now. Not you meant to the next. Real, recognize real, basically. Yeah, I got you, bro. I'm feeling your vibes right now, for sure. I don't, my life has changed a lot, bro. You know, and if you look back at like my old content, you'll know why I'm feeling your vibes. Like where I come from and my roots. Like this, dude, this right here. This book is like all of my old content transcribed into stories. You know, and it's absolutely incredible, man. Yeah. It's beautiful. I fucking love this book so much. Wow. That's fucking sick, bro. Hello, what's that depression after ego death? I thought I would never feel depression or fear after ego death. I bet that's because you had a complete misconception of what ego death even was. I bet you thought, just imagining here, that if the ego dies, I'll never feel any sort of negative egoic emotion again. But that's not true. That's not true. Tell me, what do you think ego death is? Describe to me what ego death is to you. Yeah, I found you a while back and binged a bunch of your DMT trip reports. Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. That's cool. I love DMT is my favorite psychedelic. I ain't even gonna lie. 100%. I like how short it is, and I like what it does more than other psychedelics that I've tried, being LSD and mushrooms. And yeah, M33, man, the depression after ego death. You like Vivek's channel? I used to listen to it. I don't listen to like a lot of trip reports anymore, but he has a really dope channel for sure. Yeah, what's that? Okay. When it has happened to me, I felt myself out of my body, and I felt I don't know my family as I've known them through my whole life. Let me ask you the question you're asking me. What is it that you feel depressed about? Or are you not able to put any sort of face to it? Because for me, when I had like an ego breakdown, not really, I wouldn't call it ego. It was kind of like ego death a little bit. It's like an awakening, you know. But for me, I felt very disillusioned, and like I'd been living a lie, and like I was just like this, like I felt like just an emotional, like I felt like a chemical robot, like happiness and sadness and courage and love was all just fucking emotion, like chemicals. And I felt fake and robotic, and just like I felt depressed. I felt like I feel depression about relationships, by example. I feel depression about that things that I'm sure it doesn't matter. I'm having a hard time a little bit understanding that. I think I don't think you're doing anything wrong. I think the depression is a natural result. How did you have the ego death, first of all? But yeah, I feel like the depression is most likely a natural response that your body, mind, and soul is having the experience that you had. You know, and it's not something you're doing wrong. It's not something to figure out and get rid of. EIA Richard, sick. I'm glad you're still here, man. Ego death to me is a separation from one's worldly drives versus their internal or spiritual drives. Being able to overcome the self in such a way that you are able to perceive yourself as you are. Exactly. I completely agree. Ego death to me was realizing, to put it simply, this is what ego death is. I am not who I think I am. I am not who I'm thinking I am. I am, and then there are all these thoughts saying, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is what I want, this is what I want to do, this is where I'm going, this is who I am. Oh, that's what they think of me, on and on and on and on. Thoughts, thoughts, thoughts. You are not a thought. I am not a thought. We are existence itself. And a lot of us don't know that. And that's why ego death is really the experience of returning back to what you actually are and realizing, a lot of times to your horror, I'm not who I thought I was. And like when people say you don't exist, they don't mean you literally don't exist. They mean the version of yourself that who you think you are is a projection of psychological concepts that you're hiding behind. That projection is not real. It's like thinking you're your shadow, when in reality you're you, the one casting the shadow. But you're not aware of that because you're so obsessed with the shadow. It happened to me by purpose. if you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about psychedelics. That's why grounding techniques are so interesting and powerful. Being able to feel your blood, your thoughts, your emotions in a physical and real way. Absolutely, man. And that's what kept me so grounded. My brother was very helpful in grounding me in certain episodes, telling me, like, dude, look at what you're seeing. Feel your body. Feel your breath. Just be here now. Here is all there is, man. Mama! Yo, the spiritual witch. Richard M33. Oscar, that's my mom. The spiritual witch is my beautiful mother. She comes and hangs out on my live streams, and it's so beautiful. But no, grounding is absolutely important, and that's one of the things that I really specialize in sharing and teaching when it comes to spirituality, because I thought I was losing my fucking mind. I kind of effectively was for a period of time. You can go back into my channel and see it, of me like really out there. And it took me a long time to sort of come back down and find myself, find my ground, and yeah. So when I watch my thoughts from a distance, the one who's watching is the real me. Yep. 100%. 100%. You are the watcher. And what you're watching is your thoughts, which is a mechanism of, it just kind of happens. It just kind of happens. And you can think what you want, but there's also thoughts that just happen, and yeah, you're not those thoughts. You're the one that's watching, exactly. And see, your thoughts are even going, we're about to get really deep for a second. Your thoughts are going, the one that's watching these thoughts is the real me. But you feel like you said that, but really, you're still just watching that thought too. So it gets really deep. I gotta go pee again real quick. I'm so sorry. Give me a few minutes, or like 30 seconds. I'm coming. Hey, Mama, hope you're having a good evening. Your son is such a wonderful and eloquent human. Not much of a spiritualist myself, but there's always love here. Richard, thank you so much, man. That's so beautiful. I do recognize you from the comments, man, and I just want to say thank you so much for your love. And I'm so glad that the content lands with you and resonates with you. So my mind is the enemy of the real me? No. No, 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 no. Not true. Servant, not an enemy. Yeah. That is not the way to think about it. That's how a lot of people think about the ego and the mind when it comes to spirituality. But all it does is make you eat yourself alive. The mind is incredible. So beautiful, so helpful. The mind is your desire and your passion and your dream and your vision and your love and your fun and your interest and your personality and all of it. But it can be debilitating in its ability to cling and to obsess and to overthink and to become delusional, to think something's true when it isn't. The mind can get get weird, but it's not the enemy. And also, you're not the mind. You like Inevitable is saying, it's a servant, not the master. I think that progression and regression, ebb and flow of thinking that you understand your true self only to uncover another illusory layer is part of ego death. I completely agree. It's like that's like a long-term ego death too. Because like that doesn't happen in one night. It might under certain circumstances. But like what you're talking about is like a prolonged, slow burn exposure of consistent awakenings. Yeah, it's a weird paradox. Don't overthink it. Yeah, exactly. Don't overthink it. That's the last thing you want to hear, like if you're on acid and you're tripping out about the mind and the self. Don't overthink it. What do you mean don't overthink it? Why not? Thank you so much. What is your thoughts about afterlife? I don't know what happens, but I think something happens. Undoubtedly. I have no reason at all to think that nothing happens. It honestly seems ignorant and arrogant to think that this life is just this electrical, cosmic, molecular fluke, you know? And once this body dies, no more. No, I think life is absolutely divine. And not just life, existence. Because existence holds life and inanimate material. And I think existence itself is absolutely magical. And when you go into, like, let's assume that when you die, you go into nowhere. You don't exist anymore. All right, go in the other direction. Where were you before you were born? Nowhere. You didn't exist, right? So what that says is that this can come out of nowhere. Existence can be born from non-existence. So even if you go into non-existence, who the hell's to say something like this doesn't happen again? Who the hell's to say something just in general doesn't happen out of the seed of non-existence? If live streams like yours pop up and they're all AI generated, do you think we will see a resurgence of physical meetings? Like you'd hold a Terence McKenna like lecture instead of a live stream? Wait. What do you mean? Like you'd hold a Terence McKenna like lecture instead of a live stream? Yeah, what do you mean by that part? You know when you rub your eyes too long, maybe that, but tenfold, then absolute stillness. That's hysterical. Phosphenes, bro. That's what that's called, by the way, phosphenes. I remember learning about that. I was like, no way, bro. Do you believe that our awareness will come back to Earth to new experience in a different body? I don't doubt that at all. I think reincarnation is real and can happen, most definitely. I think what determines if you come back, though, is what I don't know about. But can you come back? Absolutely. That's what I think. Like Ram Dass on the lawn. What do you mean? I mean, like AI may take over videos and it will be hard to distinguish real from fake. I could make money by hosting 10 streams with fake people who talk about spirituality, if that happens. Maybe we'll see a resurgence in physical meetings. Oh, I see what you're saying. Dude, I want to do physical meetings. I want to do live events, but I'm nowhere big enough to be right now to be able to host an event that would be like worth the investment right now. Unless I were to get some like dedicated homies to come out where we I rent an Airbnb and we go over and I host an event for like a couple days or something where we do stuff like this and we have a sort of like a criteria of what we're going to talk about and break stuff down, It'd be very cool. And I see it happening. Ram Dass on a lawn. I love that so much. I love that you remember that, Mama. That's my vision. That's my vision. We'll circle it back to sitting around a fire talking about God and talking about what it means to be alive and how it's hard and how to also make it be beautiful, you know? What's these crowns next to name? Am I the second king? Heavy is the head that wears the crown. That's hysterical. It's you've been commenting the second most. Oscar, I guess, has been commenting the most. I think that's what that means. It's engagement. Inevitable. If you just start engaging really hard, you'll get number one. Oscar has it right now. Evening, bruz. What's up, man? How are you? The Azza. The way it should be. I completely agree. Mama, if you listen to, or any of you, if you listen to Ram Dass's early lectures, oh, it's so beautiful, so beautiful. Literally, just sitting on the lawn at his dad's old farmhouse in New Hampshire, talking about God and spirituality with young hippies that wanted to come hang out and learn about God and spirituality. It's so beautiful. I don't know if this is a personal question, but I'm curious to know how ego death happened with you. All right. No, that's not a personal question at all. Ego death happened. So I think there's like two different types of ego death. One is kind of like Richard was suggesting, the sort of prolonged awakening process. But I don't really consider that. That's not really what I consider ego death. The other kind of ego death is what I really like call the ego death, which is, I took acid. I was probably like 17 years old. I've told this story a bunch, by the way. But I took acid with my brother, and I knew about this thing called ego death. And once I started tripping really hard, I was like, okay, I wonder if I'm going to have ego death. And then I thought to myself, well, ego death means I don't know who I am. Okay, so I asked myself, who am I? And my mind said, I'm Devin. And I said, no, that's just my name. Who's Devin? And then my mind said, I'm a human. And I said, no, that's just my species. Who is it that's a human? And then my mind starts having a bit of a hard time trying to tell me who I am. So I'm like, come on. I'm like asking my mind, like, who am I? Tell me who I am. You're always telling me everything else. Tell me who I am. And then it's like, I'm Devin. I'm a human. I'm 17. I'm on acid. This. And I'm like, these are all just thoughts, bro. Who's having these thoughts? And so there was a severing between me and my mind. And long story short, I realized that I am not the thoughts that I'm having. I am, and there are these thoughts that I listen to. And I realized that I've been living my life through all those thoughts, having lost complete contact with who I really am. And who I really am is not my mind. It is this existence itself. And being existence itself not only means I'm my body, but I'm existence itself. Everything is what I am, truly. And it's what you are. It's all one bit. And it's not like I didn't know the separation. It's not like I didn't know my ass from my head or you from me, but existence is one field of experience, and that is what we all are. And that's what I realized. That's exactly what happened to me, but with different material. What do you mean by different material? This relationship with his dad is a funny one, especially their last conversation. Wait, what are you referring to? I'm being swept away by Wayne Dyer right now. Wayne Dyer is an incredible being. Oh my gosh. I haven't listened to him a lot, but yeah, I love him so much. I watched a movie he made. It's hilarious, but also comforting. Did you see it? What, that Wayne Dyer made? The Switch. Watch it sometime. I think I've heard of that. That's the beginning of the Be Here Now book. Ram Dass having that contemplation on Timothy Leary's couch. Yes. Dude broke himself all the way down. So beautiful. Yep. That's so beautiful. So beautiful. That's ego death. That's ego death too. That's exactly what I think ego death is as well. Is exactly what he described. Yeah, that's so beautiful. And that has never left me. That knowing that what I am is not thought, but experience. And it's something I don't try to relate with people about it because it's not relatable. I just am existence. And whoever else gets it, it's like, yeah, I fuck with you, bro. You know, but like you can't relate with it through thought. You know? Because that's the boundary that creates the differentiation. The truth changes not. Yeah. I can't wait to devour that cookie dough after this live stream. Yeah, Mama, I love Wayne Dyer so much. He's the one that said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. It sounds like a just fuckery of words, but think about it. When I look at you differently, you become different. Do you believe in reward and punishment after life? I believe in reward and punishment in life. I don't think we burn in hell when we die. And I also don't think we go to a weird ass, like, fantastical place like heaven when we die. I know you don't, but I'm just asking. That's funny. To be in a state of constant departure while always arriving. You seen Waking Life? What is Waking Life? I know that. Wait. I know that first thing you just said there. To be in a state of constant departure while always arriving. Where do you think we go when we die? Nowhere. I think that's the far out arrogant response. But I think we go to another dimension. I think our consciousness goes to another plane of existence. Or I think, like, okay, so think about this. If reincarnation is real, this is what it's like. You probably don't remember a past life. And you probably don't know where you're going when you die. You just are who you are. That's what reincarnation is. You know? And the fact that, like, talking about the Hindu philosophy of reincarnation, the fact that we're sitting here right now talking about reincarnation is itself a result of having reincarnated a shitload of times. Because to even consider it is development on the behalf of your soul. You know what I mean? Like our consciousness being like our soul. Yeah. Like, yeah, I think reincarnation is possible, and I also think it's possible that we go to a different dimension. I don't think we disappear. I don't think we stop existing. You know? I think we change forms. Okay, why do all this? What's the purpose of life? It's a dance of form. It's God dancing for the hell of it. Because why not? Because God has the ability to be. So why not do something? As far as, like, okay, so, like, here's the way I've always thought about it. There are only answers to questions and problems. And the universe isn't a question or a problem. The universe just is. So the idea of purpose and meaning is something that happens within our mind alone. Like, it's like the video game character in a video game longing to know how it exists. It can't know the computer that creates it. Or it's like, Watts described it is like the light of a flashlight wishing to shine on the wires that connect it. It can't. You see what I'm saying? You can't know the meaning of life. It's fucking way beyond it's a meaning. You know? What if it's just like before we were born? Eternity passes by in an instant. It very well could be, man. But if it's like just before we were born, what that tells me is, I was talking about this a while ago, we can, like, if when we die we go back to nowhere,